All right. I'm here with Julia Baxter. Me and Julia, we know each other from, where do we know each other from?
We went to an event in Austin together, and we were in a marketing community together.
Yep, and we were supposed to be doing videos to hit L1, and you hit it, and I didn't.
Yet.
But it's still fun. We went and ate, went and hung out I hung out at a bar that night, in Texas. And what did you do? You just hung out with the leaders?
We all hung out with the leaders. We shot some videos together. We watched some cool presentations together, and we made plans to really crush this online game, right?
Yeah, so here we are right now. But it took me a little while longer than it took Julia, but here I am, and we want to go ahead and get started. And the reason for these videos is because any new network marketer or internet marketer, it's a way for you to borrow the experience of whoever I'm interviewing and take it and use it in your own strategy. All right, so let's get started. So what was it, Julia, that got you into network marketing to begin with?
So when I got started, which was 2009, a friend of mine, we were really good friends, she got involved and took me to lunch, and I remember how horrible the conversation was because she was nervous and I didn't know what she was talking about. Nothing she said made any sense. And we were at one of those restaurants where you can draw on the tablecloth with a crayon, and she was drawing numbers, and I didn't know what any of it meant, but I trusted her. We had a really strong relationship. We'd actually done business together before in totally different ways. And then she asked me to come to a presentation. My husband and I, my then boyfriend, I guess, we went together, and it was the two couples of us, and we saw a company presentation. And I remember that the company presentation didn't make a lot of sense to me either. And I thought, I know there's something to this, but I can't quite figure out what. And this other couple, they were so excited about it, and they were very smart business people. They had both run really, really successful businesses. So had it not been for that relationship, I might have not really stepped forward. So we left the meeting early. We went to a pub around the corner, and the couple explained to us what they were really trying to show us. And we said, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Honestly, that's how I got in. And it was because the business made sense, residual income made sense, and because the people who brought it to us, I knew that they were smart people. So it was trust, really.
Well, that sounds similar to how I got in. But,
yeah?
But I know before a breakthrough is a breakdown. So can you tell us a little about the worst time in your business?
Okay, so there was a time in my network marketing business that I hadn't grown yet as a person. And I remember watching everybody around me rank up. And I was starting to feel in the culture, and I was totally self-imposed. We'd go to a weekly meeting, and I was there faithfully, and I think I was doing what I was coached to do. I was pretty coachable, and I wasn't getting the results that my friends were getting. And week after week, they're clapping for people promoting, and they're getting their gifts, and their teams are getting bigger and bigger. And there was a point where mine wasn't growing, and I hadn't nailed it yet. And I stopped going to meetings for about 2 weeks just because I was feeling sorry for myself because I hadn't grown the mindset yet that there was something missing. If you want things to change, you have to change, as Jim Rohn says. I hadn't learned that yet. And I was feeling crummy about going and applauding for these people, and I wanted to be happy for them, but something inside me felt like, why isn't that me? So I took a break, told myself I was taking a break. Don't do that if you're listening and you think you're going to take a break. Don't take a break because it's harder to go back. And here's what I remember. When I went back, got over myself and made a few more calls or whatever. When I went back, someone I really didn't know was all over me saying, where have you been? We've missed you. I noticed you weren't here. And that stuck with me because people watch when you don't know that they're watching. And I was at home feeling sorry for myself that, oh, why can't I have what they have and whatever. What I should have been focused on was the activity and the fact that I did have value. So that was one low point. But I would say that the worst time I ever had in network marketing was about a year and a half ago, right before I left my previous company. And it was very dramatic, and it was all kinds of stupidness. And it was the person who sponsored me reported me to the company because I started branding myself online and told all kinds of stories. And in the end, I left that opportunity. That was absolutely the worst time because I lost friends who thought I was doing something I wasn't. My reputation was damaged because of things this other person said. But the good part is because I'm an online marketer, I was able to rise all above that. And because I've grown as a person in those 10 years or so of being, or 8 years, 9 years of being in network marketing. So because I had an online brand, I could speak out about it without naming the person. And that was therapeutic. So the worst was when this entire organization, or so it felt, was bashing me and telling stories about me and whatever. And it ended up being a blessing because I left that opportunity, went to what I think is a better one. And I grew in the midst of that. And now I have a story to tell other people who are going through something similar.
Yeah, that's good. What I want to go back to is you were talking about those people when you came back. They were like, they asked you where have you been and everything. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited to have you on, because you kind of pushed me. You kind of basically said, I'm not going to let you sit down and watch TV and not do anything. You know, you have to get on here and you have to push forward.
Yep.
So that's why I'm really excited to have you on, because you just wouldn't let me not do anything.
Well, thank you. And I actually, I see so much potential in you because I think you're awesome. But it's also because I've been through that, because I know what it's like to feel like you're not making enough headway, or that no one will notice. Especially as online marketers, we can be in our little cocoon and nobody knows the difference. They might notice that we're not doing our lives or whatever, but we can kind of slip away into the night and nobody's around to pull us back up. Whereas in network marketing, if you're part of a team, if you allow the team to help you like this team did, and I should have mentioned, the woman who said that to me is now my best friend.
Oh, yeah?
She's like, we hang out all the time. She left the old company to come with me to the new one. Yeah. But it's because she showed that she cared about me, and I want to do that for other people.
Yeah, that's good, because it's just so easy to get in the habit of not doing anything. You know, because you get the mindset of not doing anything, and it takes so long to get back into a different mindset. So I'll listen to podcasts, and like Ray Higdon, we were talking about earlier, and EO Fire. I just keep listening to them until eventually your mind shifts into, this is who I am now. That old person is not who I was. You have to make that change, but it's so easy not to.
So easy. I mean, now I have the mindset. It's not like we don't mess up. We do. And I still have the feeling I'd rather do nothing. A lot of days I'd rather not bother
right.
Because it's easier not to, right? But when you have shifted your mindset more permanently, like it becomes more and more permanently, the question I ask myself all the time now is, who is the person I'm becoming? Am I acting in accordance with the person I'm becoming? Because the person I am now might not feel like doing it, but the person that I'm becoming absolutely will do it. So I want to act now the way I would when I'm that person, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I just bought a course from, I don't know if you've seen it, Ray Higdon and Herson did it. Have you seen that one? It's Fast Track to Six Figures.
No.
Well, anyway, I had to share it with you. But Herson said you're always 90 days out. So whatever person you want to become is always 90 days away. There's a buffer between that, because you have to, shift your mind so much that, basically the person that you are now to the person you become, it don't happen right away. You have to change in order to become that person. It's always at least 90 days away. I know he explained it better than I did, but I had to get that and send it to you.
I get that. Send that to me. It's very much that constant process, right? So yeah, I guess like in our business, we would say your results are 90 days away. so that if you do a 90-day game plan, you're going to get those results with consistent activity 90 days from now. So the same would work for the person you're becoming and the mindset that you have, I guess.
Yeah. So basically, whatever is in your mind, reality is 90 days away. But if you don't stick to it, you never see it because you never stuck to that 90 days.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So let's get started with number 4.
Okay.
What would you tell yourself 10 years ago?
Okay. So 10 years ago, almost to the day. So 10 years ago in May, I had made a decision to never have a boss again. And part of me knew that was true, and part of me was scared to death that it might not be true.
Right.
Because I had been laid off from corporate, and I just knew that I didn't want to work for anybody else again for all kinds of reasons. And anybody here who's had a job and had a boss, there's all kinds of things about that you don't mind, and there's all kinds of things about that you can't stand. And I knew 10 years ago, I am never going to have a job again. But there was a small part of me that felt like, what if I have to go get a job again?
Right.
What if I have to go sit in a cubicle or answer to somebody else or prove myself in the interview process again, or whatever that is? The fear of going through that again was more disgusting to me than really putting myself out there and working. So what I'd say to myself 10 years ago, if I could have been my own advice, I would have said it is going to happen. But the one thing you're going to need to do, maybe a few things you need to do, is get around mentors who are where you want to be and know that you are worthy of being with them. As we often hear, get around people who are where you want to be, find mentors. And my old self would say, that sounds nice, but how? How am I going to just suddenly be mentored by millionaires? Well, I am now. Right. In fact, those people are my friends now. I totally changed everything, and you know how that works, right? Yeah. You change your friends or change your friends. So I used to ask the question how a lot. Well, how is that going to happen? I believe it can, but how? And I got a little bit hung up on it 10 years ago. Now I see, just paint the vision and work towards it, and it's going to happen. So one was get around those leaders, but act in accordance with what they do. No, I'm not just pretending that I belong. I actually do belong. Right. And I'm in the communities where they are, and I'll go hang out with them and be friends with them, be a friend to have a friend, and so on. And the second piece is brand yourself. I teach that now, and maybe we'll get into that in another question, but why I teach that is because I know how important it is, and I'm wired to teach it. I'm good at it. I have a history in it in my work life. So now I know that when you build your personal brand and you stick with that and you really have crafted who you are, what you stand for, who you serve, and how you help them, the rest just falls into place. It's still work, but the rest just comes. And had I known that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been so worried about where my next paycheck was coming from, or how many likes I had on a post, or if internet marketing would even work. Like all of those things, if I just stuck with get around people who are where you want to be and brand yourself like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're at a job you're at a job and you got into network marketing, and then you lost your job. Is that right?
I lost my job in 2007, end of 2006, really. And I was going on job interviews and that kind of thing. And I'd heard about network marketing, but I really didn't know much about it. And it was 2009 that I got into network marketing. By then, I already had my own marketing firm. That's what I did for a living, was marketing for corporations. And I thought that network marketing, I'd never heard of it. And I thought it was going to be similar to marketing, and it was very, very different, completely different. So I had to learn a whole new skill set. And, some of your listeners and viewers, maybe that's how they're feeling, that, whatever career you've come from, network marketing is different, but it will also leverage whatever it is you already know, it will make stronger. So when I lost my job, I didn't have network marketing. Wish I had. because I was just like pedaling as fast as I could to get clients and so on and make a name for myself as a marketing consultant. And somewhere 3 years in, 2.5 years in, my friend brought network marketing to me. So then I did both. And now, last May, I fired all of my corporate clients, and that was very scary, but I decided to go into network marketing and online marketing full time a year ago.
Okay. So from the point when you started and you weren't doing so good at it to the point that you started seeing results, what was the difference? What did you do to finally get those results?
Well, I was coachable, as I said, in my company. What I found, though, was there were some sticking points, and I started getting really real with myself about where I wasn't following through on the process. So those 7 skills of a network marketing professional: invite, prospect, invite, present, follow up, the first 4 like that, and then close being the 5th one. I didn't know those steps, and I'd been in network marketing a couple years, being coachable, had a small team, but I started Googling how to get better at this, and I came across Eric Worre. And I didn't tell you this before. I was actually thinking about this today. That, oh, hi.
He's on the other side of the door.
That's our first fan. I actually interviewed Eric Worre on the phone for my network marketing team. And it was because I was following him every day. So the shift for me was I wasn't getting what I needed in my network marketing company. I wanted better training. I wanted better results. I'm not blaming anybody there because there were people doing better than me. But I wanted to know how to be professional. I wanted to have like effective conversations. I wanted to increase my closing rate. I wanted to stop feeling scared to prospect people if I felt like talking to them. And it wasn't until I forced myself to find answers from, first of all, it was Eric Worre. And then I started going to his events. I started spending money. I started spending time. I started going to things that were uncomfortable for me to go to because no one else in my company was going. No one was going to these things. And now I look at those events where they're gathering 20,000 people, and that old company, I see the thousands coming in, is kind of caught on. So the shift was that I got educated, and no one told me how. I just searched for answers and practiced what I learned. As Ray Higdon says, invest, learn, teach. And then I had a bigger shift personally, not in my network marketing company, but personally when I started doing the teaching part. So I invested, I learned, and now I teach.
That's one thing I want to talk about is going to events. And when we look at marketers, the top marketers, we kind of put them on a pedestal of something that's not achievable. And so that's why we go to events, because then we figure out that it is achievable. They're just like us. If you poke them, they get mad. And, but they're just like us. But before that, they're just on such a high pedestal to me that I had to go for it to seem real. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. I felt the same way. And I was feeling like I wouldn't belong and that they would have better results than me. And is this really the event that I'm supposed to be at? What if somebody asks me how well I'm doing?
Right.
And that's all our own limitations, right? Because when you actually get there, and this, there's every part of the spectrum, people who are brand new and know nothing, to people who are multi-million-dollar earners and have great teams, and everything in between, right? So it's not a competition between us and them. I think it's a competition with ourselves to just grow and get better, because they're not in my life. They're not in my shoes. They're not selling my product. They're not in my company living my life. So I can't compare myself to them, right? So yeah, absolutely you have to get to events to surround yourself with people who are better than you, and also for you to inspire people who haven't experienced what you have yet.
Right. Yep. So, all right. So we covered all that. What is the book that you recommend the most? What are you reading right now, or just whatever you recommend most?
Right now, I'm reading Vibrational Money by Ray Higdon. Okay. Actually, I got it from him at his event in February, and I read part of it. I'm finishing it now. My biggest recommendation is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Okay.
It is what it sounds like. And I like the audio version. I really like the audio version because I like how Darren really explains things. But hearing that I've listened to that probably 50 times, maybe, that particular book. And it's all about what it sounds like is how the small things you do regularly compound and make a big effect. And it's not just about, it's not about network marketing at all. It's about life choices. It's about decisions. So I quote that book all the time, and the concepts are just part of me now.
Right. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, the being 90 days out. If you don't stick to the 90 days, you will never see the compound.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. It's like an investment. You got to leave it there for a while.
All right. Good. So what do you see? Where do you see yourself in the future? Short term, next couple of years.
I'm really excited about now my husband and I both work with a network marketing company that works really well for online marketing as well. We do both. And we wanted an opportunity that supported that was just more conducive to that. I think you can build anything online, but some things they make more sense naturally. So we have finally figured out how to harness that, those two things, online marketing and our network marketing. So we've got webinars coming up to promote what we do on the back end, our network marketing business. And we're going to be running some evergreen webinars once we get our feet wet with the live stuff. And I'm just really excited about that because we've been holding back a little bit. We know the technology. We know how to do webinars. We've done them before. I've done lots of them, but not for my network marketing company. So That's a big thing coming up. And I recently relaunched my branding course, and I've got some more students coming into that because I think branding is so important. And they're from everywhere. They're from all different types of things. So my future is, I'm building my brand as I help entrepreneurs brand themselves for all they're worth and increase their value to the world. So in 2 to 5 years, that's just going to get bigger. And I'm finding new ways to keep our network marketing company growing and our team growing and loving that. We love what we do. But the branding stuff up front, I really do love. I didn't have this before. I don't care what company you're with. I can help you build. I can help you build your brand. I can help you, you do the same thing. And there's so much fulfillment in that. I'm excited about where that's going to take us in 2 to 5 years. I'm more focused on helping my students, to be quite honest.
Well, good. So if people want to get in on that and connect with you, where do they go?
My Facebook page is the best place to go. It's facebook.com/InsideTheJewelBox, and you'll see what I'm up to on there.
Okay, I'll add that. All right, I think I have the link to it on my Facebook page already. But if not, I'll go ahead and add it in the show notes.
Okay.
Sound good?
Great.
All right, cool. Well, so everybody, this is Julia. We met at an event, and she's doing pretty good for herself, to this point, and the future's looking bright. So I'm happy about that. And if you want to connect to her, just go to, I'll put the links in the show notes on the fan page. All right. And I'll talk to you in a minute, Julia.
Okay.